Good evening.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Camera's too low.
Is it?
Yeah.
We
missed last week, huh?
I was here. It's Jeff Kelman of Solid Canine Training and the wonderful Joelle. And this is the What Would Jeff Do show, streaming to you live this Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, streaming on Rumble, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Streaming for, 15, 16 years at least. Consistently, anywhere up to 3 times a week at one point. Longest running dog training podcast in the world. It's a Q&A show, and everybody's struggling with behaviors. If you're struggling with your dog's behavior, you need to find someone that actually can help you with that. And the key component to always look for is ask a trainer if they're capable of stopping unwanted behaviors. If your dog is struggling with unwanted behaviors such as leash reactivity, separation anxiety, resource guarding, aggression, obedience commands do not solve the problem, nor do brain games, enrichment exercises, drugs, a behaviorist, going to the vet. None of those will solve the problem. You need to find someone that understands behavior modification and the stopping of an unwanted behavior. And that's through punishment. Social media has hijacked dog training, and they want to convince you that if you teach your dog not to do something, you're being abusive to your dog. Their mantra is that if you teach your dog not to do something, you're being abusive to your dog. Could you imagine that? They don't want you to share information that says that rushing the front door and barking is wrong. They don't want you to share information that biting someone is wrong. Could you imagine that? Your average dog trainer, 90+% of dog trainers out there that don't believe in actually correcting unwanted behavior, feel that you shouldn't teach your dog that biting people, aggression, is wrong because they won't stop it. It's sad and it's scary. And it's not that difficult. Aggression can be challenging, but stopping leash reactivity, that can be as simple as one session. Resource guarding, simple as one session. Separation anxiety, simple as one session. Most dog trainers, if they spent 90 minutes with you, you should have a dramatically different dog and a different life with your dog. So ask questions.
Dog trainer Jess, how do you prevent resource guarding only toward other dogs?
Prevent it or stop it? Which one do you want to do? To prevent it, no matter what you do, it could still happen. You just have to know how to stop it. But if you want to prevent it, you set it up. You teach the out command, set it up, put a high value resource guard item, whatever it is, and introduce stable dogs. So it's not a dog fight. Teach that dog the out command. But if you want to stop it, that's simple. Preventing it's actually harder because you can do everything right and your dog could still have it, which is no big deal because it only takes one session to stop it. How do you prevent your dog from tearing its ACL? It could happen. I guess never walk your dog, but then even then, that means your dog's going to be not very agile, and for all you know, climbing up the steps is going to tear it. Getting out of the car is going to tear it. But resource guarding, we don't do anything specifically to prevent it. We just can stop it in one session, so it really doesn't matter. A lot of stuff we can stop in one session. But you can do everything right with the best dog, best bred dog, and it can still resource guard. But stopping it is simple. We've got lots of videos on it. I've done it thousands of times successfully with 100% success rate. It doesn't take long. It can take one session. It can take a week.
The caveat to that, though, is like you need to know the dog and the other dogs, and like Jess, you're a dog trainer, so you have to make sure your clients are going to actually follow through.
Mm-hmm.
We can get dogs to stop resource guarding with us, yes, very quickly. But if people aren't going to be as strict or firm, well, dog's going to take advantage.
And that's what everyone has to realize. That doesn't mean the training doesn't work. It means dogs are opportunists. And anyone that doesn't understand that doesn't understand dogs.
Yeah.
That's what they'll try to tell you. Well, if the training worked, it should work with everybody. That's a lie, actually. That's a lie. Dogs are opportunists. They'll do what they can get away with.
Especially when you're dealing with like packs of dogs and it's guarding with toys. It's like there's a lot of variables. You have to make sure one dog isn't being a jerk and like trying to be a toy stealer either. Like we don't let dogs steal toys from other dogs either. So
it's a lot of variables. But either way, it can be stopped. But if you're a trainer and if you're not in our mentorship program, it's something you might want to think about. But we have step-by-step videos on how to stop it. And I can tell you step by step. The breed never matters. The age of the dog never matters. Past experiences don't matter. All three of those things do not matter when it comes to this stuff.
We use toys in our play groups. The rule is if one dog has it, the other dogs aren't allowed to take it. The dog is putting its head over the toys whenever dogs are walking by. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So what can I do to stop that from becoming a trigger?
You can correct the dog out. Why do you, let me ask you a question though. Why are you using toys in your play groups? I'm not against it. Well, maybe I am. But why would you do that? Why would you use toys in your play group? Because it's fun? Seriously, think about it logically. Why would you use toys in your play group? Why not just have the dogs exist around each other, interacting or not interacting? But if you want to use toys in the play group, or has it been up for discussion? Don't eliminate toys in the play group because to stop resource guarding? Absolutely not. I don't believe in that at all. You should be able to have toys out. But from a business angle, and from a risk angle, and from a uneducated staffing angle, you could possibly set yourself up for disaster. But if you've got it, you can teach that dog that it can't hover over toys. But then again, does that mean that other dogs can steal that toy? So what I would do is I'd watch the dog. Does that dog guard? So if another dog came close to the dog that was hovering over the toy, would that dog attack? And if the answer is yes, well then, now what do we do? Well, we can teach that dog to either pick up its damn toy and stop guarding it, or right, just pick it up. If you want to play with it, it's like shit or get off the pot. Now, because there's dogs out there that will hoard toys.
Yep.
They'll take toys and they'll put them in their space and then they'll guard them from everybody.
They'll wait for a dog to walk by just to start a fight.
Yep. We've seen that numerous times. They'll walk up to a dog with a toy in its mouth just to see if the dog will put its mouth on it, and then they'll fight the dog. So
a lot of assholery out there.
But I would want to know why you have toys in your play groups, knowing that it could trigger that. But you can. But it's easy enough to stop. But you have to have a skilled staff that can pick up everything. So you can do role play. You teach that dog out. But then if you teach that dog out, does that mean that any dog can pick up that toy? And maybe that's allowed because that dog wasn't playing with it. It was just guarding it. Next.
Let's see. Trying to get on everyone's on different platforms. So let's see. Outdoor Obedience said I finally caught a live again. When are you guys normally live now?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When we keep in mind we spend, a quarter of the year in Greece. So when we were in Greece, which is 7 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, it's all messed up. The times are usually in the afternoon.
Doing our podcast at like noon,
noon Eastern Time. But we're on here on Mondays, and you can catch the replays. But we always like to have people live. Next.
Shy said, good evening. Just enjoying some homemade tacos while I watch.
Nice.
Sounds good.
So there's some people out there that have never had soft tacos.
Really? Like crunchy's the only option?
Well, I'll tell you, growing up in Ohio,
I hate
in the 70s and 80s.
Like cuts to the roof of your mouth.
That's all we had.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we didn't have a large Hispanic population that was knowledgeable, and the people around us were not knowledgeable about the soft tacos. Now we make our own. I make my own.
What was that?
Cats.
Bad dogs.
We have
barking cat.
We have cats. But
Okay, that's enough.
But it's not that they're just. It's not that you're just barking. Wes.
I'm confused because he's in my room. I told Angela to put him in my room.
He's not. He just walked right by. It's right there.
And didn't I have you lock him up?
Yeah.
How'd he get out?
I don't know.
Did he open the door?
Should we put Wes away?
Yeah.
So we've got cats
Yeah.
It's so
that
bad.
come into our yard
Yeah.
and they climb on and hush. And they climb on can we just stop all this, please? All right, please. And we have
They destroy
they
everything.
climb on our pool cage
We
constantly.
just had rescreened.
Constantly. And we have a major cat problem in not just our neighborhood, but within these houses here. And I think I'm going to have to start call animal control.
I think so. All
Because-
the neighbors are pissed off at this point.
There are dozens of cats within a 4 to 6 house area, and they're destroying our yard. Smells like piss,
So gross.
and they're destroying things, and it's really bad. So our dogs absolutely chase the cats out of our yard because they'll destroy it. They'll destroy our
They
furniture.
did. They shredded our screen, like our brand new screen,
yep.
climbed it up and clawed it.
Yep.
Like, and who pays for it? We're stuck paying for
Yep,
it because
I know.
these random cats.
Next.
Shai said, would it be beneficial or silly to send clients empowerment homework? I use it a lot for nutrition clients that have a habit of self-sabotage and low self-esteem.
If you want to, yeah. The more stuff you can give a client, the better.
Yeah, why not?
The more stuff you can give a client, the better. Next.
People need empowerment.
Mhm.
Outdoor Obedience said, I work at a daycare, and if there's more than like 5 dogs, we don't use toys. It's just not worth the constant battle, especially since the dogs aren't in training most of the time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could make it if you get the same dogs or the majority of the dogs that are the same. You can just every dog knows the rules and you can be fine.
Back when we had like big daycare, we had like a friendly group
Mhm.
of like, I don't know, 5, 6,
Mhm.
maybe 8 dogs that were super safe.
Mhm.
They could do whatever the hell they wanted.
Mhm.
But if we had them out with more sketchy dogs, it's like, no, guys, you
Mhm.
need to tone it down.
Mhm.
You have to take the toys away. Like, there's rules now because we have sketchy dogs in this group.
But for training, we would role play though resource guarding scenarios though, but not during socialization. We would set it up as like a training exercise. Next.
Dan said, did you enjoy the nice brisk weather up here? So awful.
She was miserable in New England. She was miserable. It's miserable up there. It's wonderful here.
Okay, listen, it's great seeing my family.
You complained every day, Joel.
But it's like, it hurts my joints at this point in my life. Like, I feel like a 90-year-old woman up there. I'm trying to get my steps in. I got to bundle up. I'm walking around the neighborhood in the freaking wet, cold snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not for me anymore.
Yeah, we had 80s down here where you were up there. Sunny and 80s. Next.
RJ said, I'm on the learning heel with e-collar. Should I continue to watch Green to Graduate or wait until I'm done with this portion before moving forward with the course material? If you're at e-collar heel, that means you've done a decent bit of foundation already. I'd say you could do it in tandem, especially if you live somewhere where like it's crappy and you can't really get that many walks in, like if it's too cold or whatever.
Right, yeah, heel is part of just a couple times a day.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
You can work on multiple commands at a time. It's no big deal. The Frenchie Fixer said, oh, hell no to the cats. Get them, Wes. Hi, J&J. Love you guys. Hi, Constance.
Yep, it's terrible.
They're really like audacious
I mean,
cats.
you can tell I get pissed off because it's the point where I leave the house. Like I leave the house every morning around 5 a.m. As soon as I go outside, it smells like cat piss.
It's really gross.
And we don't own cats. I mean, that's how bad it is. Our front yard smells like cat piss. It's disgusting.
So now we have to sanitize the front yard, the backyard. Like we're constantly sanitizing the
And
yard.
we don't own cats.
And we don't own cats.
We don't own cats.
Let's see. Dog trainer Jess said, it's a lot easier to stop dogs from resource guarding against people, in my opinion. Yeah, because when dogs are in a pack dynamic, there's a lot more nuances to it, for sure.
And also, dogs are capable of guarding anything from anybody.
Yeah.
Anything they deem valuable. Space, People is the big one. Dogs guarding humans.
They'll guard. Yeah, we've had dogs that literally will stop them from guarding one thing, and they're like, "Well, I'm just going to guard this now, and then guard this and this." And it's like, wow, when does it end with you?
It's common in a daycare setting that a dog will guard a daycare attendant.
Yeah.
They'll pick out an attendant that they like, and the dog usually the attendant likes the dog as well. It's a toxic dynamic, and the dog will end up guarding that person from any other dog. Yeah, guarding of people is a huge thing for dogs. It's a huge issue that we see in the work that we do. That's for sure. Yeah. Next.
RJ said, cool, not dog related, but have you tried taking collagen? I take collagen every day in my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I do it in my morning coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Good for your hair, skin, nails.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. That's why she's got nice hair, skin, and nails.
Well, I'm a little iron deficient, but Dan said we still are.
Yep.
Still what? Miserable?
Yep, of course you are. It's all of New England.
It's just too long. Like, I don't mind a little brisk weather and, ooh, it's nice. Let's go out on a hike or whatever.
8 months of it, though?
It's just too damn long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's getting worse and worse and worse.
Like, the snow was pretty, and it was like a dusting. I'm like, okay, good. I had my snow fixed for the year.
Yep.
I'm good.
But there's something about being barefoot and in shorts year round. There really is. And I love it. And that's me. Barefoot and in shorts.
We know.
Yep.
He's the barefoot dog trainer now. RJ said that's why I'm staying in PA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pennsylvania can get cold. Just talked to somebody in Pennsylvania yesterday. Very cold up there. Next.
Shai said my incoming board and train is almost exactly like Griff from Green to Graduate too. Even the nervous peeing. So I'm so thankful for the videos.
Yeah, we see.
He was such a funny little dog.
We see a lot of dogs like that. We see dogs. That's why I don't need to meet people's dogs to train them.
People think that's so weird that we don't do like in person like consultation.
I know exactly what the dog's doing. People are like, you don't know my dog. I'm like, actually, I know the dog better than you do. It sounds cocky, but it's just like when you work with, over 10,000 dogs, dogs. Like there's only so many dynamics that you can do, and most owners don't know their own dog as well. Like a dramatic example is we get a dog in, I don't know 6 months ago, it was deaf, and the owner didn't even know it was deaf. We picked that up in day 1, or day 2. We figured out the dog was deaf. But we see that actually, that's the 3rd deaf dog that I've worked with that the owner actually did know the dog was deaf. Yeah. But yeah, there's only so many things. But the nonsense that was in Green to Graduate 2, we see that behavior a lot.
Yeah.
We got a great dog in right now, Dash. He's a
really cool dog.
He's a really cool dog. Really well. It's funny because we had a lot of dogs that can't put the training together. And it's not because how we train, it's because they actually struggle. Like they just struggle mentally. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of dogs that have got some screws loose and they have a hard time, learning and retaining the learning. No matter how you train, it's not a training issue. It's a dog issue. This dog though just puts things together really well after the first time. And he came to us he's got human aggression and he's training up really well. Really well. He's training.
Wes even likes him. Wes rode in the back of the car with him today.
Yeah. He hasn't, let's see, he went after me twice. The first week, he tried to attack me. And then that's it. I mean, obviously I stopped it. That's what we do. Could you imagine that? People feel that like that the whole ideology is like, you shouldn't try to stop it. Could you imagine that? Yeah. Dogs lunging at me, biting.
Snarling. The wolf face, the husky wolf face, baring his teeth. Yeah,
that was a little battle royale that went on for a little bit. But
I know I couldn't get on video, community members, because he stopped it so fast. Yeah. I heard it. It was like early in the morning when Dash didn't want to come out of his crate. And it was like one time. And I'm like, twice. I didn't get to record it.
The once coming out and then once going in. That was his trigger. Yeah. Trigger a lot of crate stuff. But he's doing great now. He's doing really great. Yeah.
Dan said 100% agree. Outdoor obedience said I worked with a dog that would guard your shoes while your feet were still in them. Dogs are ridiculous. Yeah. They are.
Yep. Dogs will guard.
Wes will guard a stick this big from another dog. That's why it's like when he's out on group hikes and things, I'm like, no, you pick up nothing because he's one of those dogs.
Yep. He'll pick up a stick and then walk over to another dog to see if the dog will even sniff it. And then just so he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he's chilled out so much. Yeah. he's chilled out.
But
so
he would
much.
guard a blade of grass.
Yeah.
He would guard snow.
Yep.
If snow was like a fun thing at the time, like kicking snow around, he was insane.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Glad those days are over.
Mm-hmm.
Shy said, dude, Charlie's videos were intense. Major props though. That was like 1% of it too.
Yeah. Charlie was an intense dog.
He was an intense dog.
Intense dog. Well, most
did not
the majority of trainers would not be able to work with him. And that's not an ego statement. It's just a knowledge statement, knowing what the industry is capable of doing right now. And Charlie's a dog that you need to be very heavy-handed with because he was intense. Yeah. And people would think the opposite to do it with him, but it's like, nope. Next.
RJ said, I hate being cold and I hate wearing pants. Moving south is something coming soon.
So we packed up our bags and drove south. I mean, I already had houses down here, so it's easy. But I still remember the day, like yesterday when we were at Bell's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a cafe 2 doors down from Bell's. Angelo and I took the RV to that cafe before we actually moved into this house, because we parked the RV at the Palmasola thing there. The house wasn't ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there for breakfast.
Mm.
And then we came here. Yeah, brought back memories. So Angela and I, we packed up the RV and just came down here and stayed. It was great. It was great. Mm-hmm. Next.
RJ said, what do I expect in Green to Graduate Part 2? It's all the same concepts. You're in the community, so you have access to it. It's the same. Everything you're learning in Green to Graduate 1, it was just live with a
dysfunctional dog.
A pretty rambunctious puppy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of peeing, jumping, mouthing, like a lot of silly nonsense behaviors.
It was live too.
Where Tucker was more like, we did a casting call. Like, we were like, we need the perfect dog to film Green to Graduate with.
An easy one.
Griff was live, raw. I'm probably cursing Jeff out in the background at one point. I'm like, take that dog out. He's pissing everywhere. It was like a comedy show. Mm-hmm. Everybody got a good laugh out of that one. Mm-hmm. So it's good though, because you see what goes into it. Yep. It's like real on the fly troubleshooting.
Not many dog trainers would ever do live training. They would never do live behavior mod. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't. They need to make 10, edits of things, which we don't do. We edit for time.
Yeah, I'll just take out a lot of
but we don't redo things. We will show everything. And then our live stuff, it's live. We show everything, every single thing. That's the great thing about our lives.
I think he refused to get in the kennel at one point.
Did.
So we show how to
show how to do it.
Kennel. Yep. There's a lot of good troubleshooting in that course for sure. Mm-hmm. Open source dog training, thoughts on teaching road boundaries. Is it work incorporating into the training?
For a client? No.
To not go in the street, you mean?
No, just teach better recall. Recall. I mean, if you want to, you can, but that's not something I would do. For my own dogs, actually, that's not something I would do either. Why would your dogs run in the street? That means they don't have good recall. That's just the thought process is if your eye shouldn't be off your dog that long that your dog could get into the street. If they are, then they should just have really good recall. Mm-hmm. Just like we don't train, an emergency down. We just train down. Isn't every down an emergency technically? But if you want to, you can. You can teach boundaries if you want to. But the owners, be careful about the owners having a false sense of security. Mm-hmm. Dogs blow off commands, Right. So if there's deer on the other side of the street, is the dog going to stay? I mean, dogs go through underground fencing. Now, boundary training I'm not against, but not going in the road, I'd rather teach and we teach our dogs not to go in the road. If they're in the front yard, we teach them not to go in the road, but we also teach them not to move that far away from us either, unless we're in some open field and they're at free time. But if they were in our front yard, and we live in a regular residential community, if they were in our front yard, if they got too close to the road, I would just tell them no. But I wouldn't call that boundary training. I would be just don't go into the road. But you can if you want to. It's not something that we spend time on, though. Not something we spend time on. I'd rather put that time towards better recall training. Next.
RJ said, I feel so bad that I found you guys after I rehomed my second dog. You are so smart and would have fixed him. I kick myself for it every day.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay.
You did the best you
Mm-hmm.
could with the information you had at the time, RJ. Sorry, I'm glad you found us though. John. Hey John, we haven't seen you in a while. I said just saying hi. I've been liking the videos of training the husky.
Yeah, Dash is great.
He's a smart dog.
We took him to the preserve, the nature preserve today. Did some work with him.
Off leash trained husky.
Yeah. He's fun. He's fun to train. So he's fun to work with. Angela's keeping
He's
an eye.
He's a very neutral dog.
Angela's keeping an eye on him right now.
Nothing. He doesn't react to anything, really.
Right.
Shai said a very famous force-free trainer teaches an emergency recall by jingling car keys.
No, they don't. That's not the training. That's the marker.
That's a marker.
That's a marker.
Right. Like,
how do they train it? So you're trying to say that you can take any dog, jingle car keys, and it comes back? That's just a marker. How do they actually train it, though? How do they train it? Yeah, and force free is a scam anyway. How do they train it? That means that I can jingle car keys and the dog comes back? Seriously, it's a serious question. That's just a marker.
That's like when people shake the food bag. Oh, dog always comes running. Yeah. It's become a sequence of events.
Right, but that's usually with their own dog.
Yes.
Take a client's dog and do that. So I'd like to know take a green dog. I want to know what's their process of training an actual recall, because the keys are just a marker. It replaces the word here or come. That's all that is. Or tone on an e-collar or a whistle. How do they actually train recall? A lot of people say, oh, we use the whistle to train recall. No, you don't. Recall is the marker. How did you actually train step 1, step 2, step 3, the actual recall? Because if you blow a whistle, a dog doesn't automatically just come to you. That's just the marker. If you just say here or come, the dog doesn't just come to you. And that's just English. There's a lot of languages out there being spoken. Spanish dogs, aquí. It's just like, how is it trained? Those are markers. We don't want to confuse a marker with the actual training process. But I'd love to know a force-free trainer, because the force-free trainers are scam artists. Number one, they're lying to you. And if they're not lying to you and they're truly not using force, they're not getting results. How do they get that dog to come to them with no force? I'd like to know. The dog's running the opposite way and they jingle their keys and the dog comes to them. How do they do that? What's the process? So they have to show you behind the curtain. So we'll explain our process, and we show our process. We document our process. It's available for free or on video through paid platforms. Exactly step 1, step 2, step 3, how we train recall. But every recall is an emergency. Why would you ever call your dog back if you don't want your dog to come back to you? Every recall should be a sense of emergency to the dog, because they don't know what an emergency is. Next.
Okay, but you want to hear something funny? When I was up north at my sister's house on Thanksgiving, she's got the 2 Frenchies. Jill, if you're watching, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little. But it worked. So one of them got out. They don't have recall. These dogs aren't trained. She's like, Louie. He's blowing her off. He's having a great time. She gets out this little device. I don't know what the fuck it is. It makes like this high-pitched frequency that only the dogs can hear. And he comes running back because he wants to attack it. So like that's like her emergency. And I'm like, that's not training. I'm like, Jill, that's not training. He just wants to attack the thing in your hand. She's like, yeah, but it gets him back every time. I'm like, okay. Whatever. Shai says she said by making noise, you become interesting and makes the dog curious, I guess.
Okay, so she's full
If the dog wasn't coming back, she would whip out the keys and shake them.
Got it. Okay, well, so first of all these people are full of shit. They're all full of shit. They just all talk garbage. All right. How did you train it? Now, this concept that's a common theme. If you're interesting, the dog will come back. Bullshit. Because why? We have dogs that recall better than others. Why don't they all come back the same if we're the same? Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. But remember, there's a lot of lying that goes in dog training, especially in the force-free world. There's a huge amount of lying out there. They're not sharing the truth with you at all. But again, whipping out the car keys doesn't make you interesting. Making noise doesn't make you interesting. How do they train a dog step by step? Any dog. So I've got to be interesting to the dog in order for it to recall to me. That's their philosophy. That's a bullshit fucking philosophy. That can't be duplicated. You should be able to duplicate your process, standard operating protocols, standard operating procedures on how to train an effective recall. You should have steps to it that can be documented, that you can pass off to anybody, and they can get similar results. That's dog.
That sounds like something should they do with their own personal dog?
Yeah, most likely.
Because it's been a conditioned sequence of events.
Exactly. It's a conditioned response.
The dog goes, ooh, car keys, we're going on a ride, gets really excited, comes running back.
Right. But that's
no different than if you take a leash, want to go on a walk.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
But that's not
training.
Dog training.
That's not training.
That's just a sequence of events that's been patterned over and over.
Which is technically dog training, but still.
With their dog, though.
With their dog, right. Their dog. They can't be duplicated.
I mean, I guess it could.
Well,
if you want to teach your clients, hey, shake your keys, and then do all these
and pull the leash towards you.
Right.
Right. But that's just, again, it sounds really good. Like this whole, if you're interesting, the dog will come back to you. Bullshit. You know why? Because deer are more interesting. It's just a lie.
But
out
also,
there.
why do you need an emergency recall? Why isn't your normal recall just
good enough?
Great all the time.
Right.
I never understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I say here, it's conditional.
Mm-hmm.
If I say come, you better come back every time.
Exactly.
What?
Doesn't make sense.
You come back every time I call you, no matter what.
Right.
RJ said training it is with a jackpot, right? Like what, the emergency recall? I don't know, because we don't do it.
We don't do it.
Every recall is an emergency.
Also jackpots. We don't believe in jackpots. I actually don't believe in jackpots. There's so much misinformation out there in dog training. So jackpots are.
Jeff doesn't believe in jackpots.
Jackpots are useless.
We want dogs to eventually work for us.
Work for us.
For the relationship.
Yep. And not because we're interesting, because we told them what to do. That's the goal.
And that they just like hanging out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's it. We don't want a dog coming back to us because, they have food in their pocket. They have food in their pouch.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs, by the end of their training with us, just want to be around us.
Mm-hmm.
RJ said, so what happens when 5 people are shaking their keys at one time?
Mm-hmm. It's just all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's everything but the truth. That's all.
Johnny said, jackpot has been proven to be BS.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't proven, I don't need things to be proven. It's just that a lot of it doesn't make sense either. It just doesn't make sense. It's all under the guise of, this is why we have an obesity problem. Everybody thinks that food is the answer when it comes to dogs. That's why we have so many fat kids and obese adults, because they use food as a reward. And they think that that's the ultimate. Like every dog should be getting a food reward for everything. The way our philosophy aligns more with service dogs, believe it or not, when you see a service dog work, most service dogs are neutral and their handlers are neutral. And the dog works for the sake of working. That's what a finished dog looks like. Next.
Shai said, yeah, she's a doorknob.
Yeah, and I don't care who it is, because that whole industry is just outright lying and scammy. None of them are showing their work. It's like, I'll tell you what, tomorrow I can go to the park, shake my keys, and I can get Dash to come back to me. That doesn't mean it's the keys.
That's relationship.
It doesn't mean the keys. It's like I can say, give me any word to say, and the dog will come back to me. Trust me. I can demonstrate it tomorrow. I'll make a video. Here's the video, guys, for the Monday night listeners to my podcast. I'll make it tomorrow. In fact, the problem is I don't have keys to shake. First of all, who does have keys to shake? Who has
keys anymore? Yeah.
I have a key fob. That's it. Next.
Like we don't even have house keys. Everything's like the keypad.
Right. And what happens if you don't have your keys on you? Dog won't come back. It's total failure. It's a total failure.
Do you even have keys?
No.
The Grease house has keys.
One
little.
There's nothing to shake. Yep.
Open source dog training is dog training reactivity outside. Sorry, I'm like dyslexic or something. Is training dog reactivity outside a dog park the fastest way to work through it? I've seen this method used the most from many trainers.
So open source dog training, if you're it sounds like you're a new trainer, which is awesome. You need to understand the fundamental foundation of how to stop behaviors first. The last thing I want you to do is go to a dog park, outside of a dog park, and work with a client's dog without having the skill set to actually stop the behavior. So the best way to do it is actually not outside of a dog park. Do we use outside of dog parks to proof dogs? Absolutely. But the first step is you do it with a dog that you have control over, or a group of dogs you have control over that you can actually use as a setup. But the fastest way to eliminate leash reactivity, and by the way, I've got 4 courses on this. We're experts at stopping leash reactivity. I can stop any dog from being leash reactive in the world. Not an ego statement, just a matter of fact. We have 100% success rate with leash reactivity. Any dog, no matter how more difficult it is, we can stop. So if you present me with a dog that I can't stop from leash reactivity, I would donate $10,000 to any place you want. So you just have to get the dog to me or get me to the dog. But you have to know how to stop leash reactivity. That's the fastest way, is understanding loading, understanding punishment. Those are the biggest things you need to understand. How to apply a punisher to stop an unwanted behavior is the number one thing that a trainer has to understand in order to stop any unwanted behavior. It's very, very important. Once you understand punishment and how punishment works and all the different ways that you can use punishment, you'll be able to stop just about any unwanted behavior. Aggression takes more time, and there's more nuances and more troubleshooting and a lot more experience. But resource guarding, leash reactivity, all those things, if you understand punishment, you'll know how to stop it. Next.
RJ said, wait, I've actually never seen Jeff use a jackpot. I just realized.
Why would you? Why would you?
RJ also said, I should have bought the year subscription and not the quarter. We can upgrade you.
Yeah. You wouldn't see me do it because that's not what I do.
Send me a message in the community, RJ. I can straighten it out.
We have a system for everything. We actually have a system for every training protocol. I've been doing this for a long time. We have systems for everything. Everything I do is not random. People think it's this random thing. It's like, no. Next.
Constance. That's the clip right there. You're so right. I love when you draw the parallels between dog life and human life. Unhealthy humans and dogs due to false rewards. Smarty Pants dog trainer at it again.
Yep, it's true.
Smarty Pants dog training. Yep. Put that on a t-shirt.
Why do you think it's people think
SPDT.
It's funny because when people see a dog doing something, like on one of our live videos, it's like what they'll say is, well, aren't you going to reward the dog? And I'm like, that's why your kid is fat. That's why you're obese. Got it. Because you think everything should be rewarded with food. And that is why we have a huge weight epidemic in the United States. It's out of control. Out of control. 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds weighing 125 pounds. I'm not shaming children here, but this is affecting everybody's mental health. All these children are going to be going through severe mental health issues because nobody's happy being fat. Yep. And nobody wants to talk about all this stuff. I don't know why not. Aren't you concerned about people's mental health and physical health? I am. Next.
White belt lifer. E-collar use in high arousal states and dialing up seems to be confusing the dog to the point of redirecting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a skill set there.
It's not so much confusing as it is, it's just sending them more into arousal, which can happen.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You have to, there's a skill set to dialing up. There's a skill set to knowing when to dial up. There's a skill set to know when you're supposed to, well, you're always supposed to squash the behavior, squash the arousal.
Could be timing.
But you're most likely adding fuel to the fire. Mm-hmm. And you're, and we deal with redirecting dogs all the time. That's why dominant dog collars are fantastic. Any dog that redirects, they get a dominant dog collar for safety, our safety, and to eliminate the arousal immediately. But we have protocols on that, step-by-step protocols on how to stop redirection. We see redirection with us, not that much. In other words, once the dog is underneath our training program, redirection is not very common because we know how to stop it before it happens. But redirection is a huge issue. If anyone doesn't know what redirection is, the best example
Charlie was a huge redirector on his owner.
Would be a dog is, say, leash reactive. And it can't get to a target dog to, pull towards it. It takes all that energy and it turns towards its handler. It'll go after its handler. Sometimes it goes after the arm, the hand, the leg. Sometimes it bites the leash.
Or
Sometimes
two dogs,
it goes after the other dog. So redirection is huge. So you want to make sure you understand how to squash that. We have a protocol on how to stop redirection. Like, we have protocols for everything. Everything imaginable that a dog could do behaviorally, we have a protocol for, because we've seen it thousands of times. Next.
Let's see. Johnny said, do you guys have a course in dog training theory, or is it incorporated into each course?
It's incorporated in each course. Our theory is we're family pet dog trainers. Our theory, a lot of it is based on the dog's state of mind. And most dog training programs out there keep the dog in a high aroused state, which is only for, in my world, outdoor off-leash activities. And even then, the dog has to be clear-headed, but they can be more high aroused. So whether we swim dogs, we obviously play fetch with dogs, we bike dogs on bicycles. So those are our high arousal things that we do. We're family pet dog trainers. We don't do sport. But our philosophy is not only the dog's state of mind, to always have control over it, and to teach the dog how to have control over its own state of mind. And it can default to a calm state of mind, but it's rewarding what we like. And the biggest thing is applying a punisher, correcting, use whatever word you want to. The proper word is punishment. A lot of dog trainers that are pussies out there are like, well, it wasn't a punisher, it was a correction. Call it fucking punishment. Stop being worried about social media backlash. Call it what it actually is. But most dog trainers out there are being really, really soft verbally because they don't like to get pushback because their feelings get hurt.
What's going on out there?
The wind is doing something for the doors. So, but our biggest thing is state of mind of the dog. Obviously, we get dogs to do massive public access around lots of distractions to listen to us. That's our big thing. But theory is only as good as the actual training program. Like, you can talk theory all day long, but you need to use training to leverage all those things, behavior modification to leverage all those things. You can't just teach a dog theory. You have to do it through a series of protocols. Leadership is huge. Us being the leaders, not the dogs. All those things are taught to a dog seamlessly with our program. So it's not like you can opt out of that part. It's all incorporated into it. In fact, I would teach that first before I would teach obedience. Teaching a dog how to be a follower instead of a leader, teaching you how to be a leader comes before the obedience. And it doesn't take weeks. You can do it within the first 5 minutes of meeting a dog, which is what we do. So the first 5 minutes of meeting a dog, I establish myself as the leader of the dog's world while it's with me.
Who was it someone just joined our community, I think yesterday or the day before. 5 minutes in. I'm not even kidding. 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh my God, tell Jeff thank you. Mm-hmm. All this leadership stuff, it's already working.
She did one protocol.
Wow, that's like a new record. You've been in for 5 minutes.
She did one protocol, and she recognized all of a sudden the power shift in her home. Mm-hmm. And it is a power shift, guys. Yep. Most dogs are dominant over their family. In family pet dog training world that we exist in, your average family pet is the dominant factor in the family dynamic. That's why owners are struggling. It needs to be above it. And for folks out there that dominance doesn't exist, you're either stupid, ignorant, lying, or don't get results. Because if you get results, it's because you're being dominant over your dog. But they think that's a bad word. And the reason why they think it's a bad word is because they had an abusive relationship with one of their parents, most likely their father, a spouse or a boyfriend, or a boss, most likely male. And that's why the word leadership or dominance, they hate because of those things. It goes back to that. It all goes back to that. Next.
Let's see. Johnny said, I've experienced redirection. It's no joke. A choker chain is not the best, as I found out.
No, we don't use choke chains at all. A dominant dog collar is what you want to use. That's going to be a dominant dog collar and a skill, and also a skill set for self-preservation. There's a skill set involved. So having a dog stop immediately from redirecting takes a skill set. We do it all the time. I did it with Dash. Dash went right after me. Boom. Right after me. And he doesn't make contact. Dog hasn't made contact with me for years. Next.
Outdoor Obedience said, do you guys still offer mentorship for trainers?
We do. We offer an online mentorship, coaching. We do it monthly or we do a 6-month. We have a in-person mastermind, which is 5 days of intense learning with us on everything. And we also offer shadows, in-person shadows as well. It's down here in Florida. The mastermind and the shadow are in Florida, right over here in Bradenton, the Bradenton, Sarasota area. And the online part of it is wherever you are. And we do it online. We meet twice a week. And then there's a daily forum. And we've got programs where you can do both. 6 months of online mentorship included, you can get an in-person shadow or an in-person mastermind. So you can reach out to us and we'll tell you all about it. Next. Oh, and you can't be broke. It's an investment. It's an investment because we get that a lot. Oh yeah, I'm interested. I want to totally learn everything I can from you, but I'm broke. So it doesn't work that way.
I'll drop Jeff's calendar here for a free consultation because we don't have for the mentorship specifically, we do not have a sales page because we want to talk to you first. Yeah. We need to know where you're at in your business. We need to know if it's an investment, that you can make and if you're going to put the time in. We don't want people joining who are just going to kind of half-ass it. No. If you're going to get into mentorship with us, we want to make sure you're a serious person. Yeah. So I'll put Jeff's calendar and then you guys book a call and talk.
And we've had everything from highly experienced dog trainers to beginning dog trainers. But the in-person stuff, you don't want to be for the shadow, it's not good for beginning dog trainers because the work I do is more heavy behavior mod. But it's good for experienced dog trainers. But our mastermind is good for everybody. It's good for everybody. Next.
Sybil said, hi, Jeff and Joelle. No question. Just want to say thanks. And Grady and Isla are thriving after board and train. If anyone is on the fence, it is 100% worth it.
Yes. Yeah. Congratulations, Sybil.
I know. I'm so happy. I love the update today.
Yep. She
keeps me so updated.
Sybil was single, no capabilities of dating with an aggressive dog. And now she's in a relationship and her dog's not aggressive. Could you imagine that? Can't have anybody come over your house because of your dog. We see that all the time.
I could see it.
Yep. We see it all the time.
Grady was a little,
had
some assholery going on.
Sure did. Next.
Good job keeping up with it though. Let's see. Shy said, can't say the D word.
Yep. Dominance is toxic, especially with the females. It's a huge trigger word because it brings back a lot of unresolved trauma. It's the way it is. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just saying though, that's the foundation behind the objection is it brings to surface unresolved trauma. If people actually thought about it instead of just having a knee-jerk reaction to my words, it would make a lot of sense. Next.
Brian, how do we stop growling or barking at any disturbance or car passing by? He sits by sliding glass door, so he sees a lot.
Yep. So this is what a lot of people will tell you to do. Cover the door. Cover the windows. So, which you don't have to do. Never cover your windows from a dog. Only time you should ever cover your windows is because you're walking around the house naked, or for temperature control. Other than that, you shouldn't do it because your dog looks out the window and barks at things. You should use strong training. So how do you stop a dog? The way you stop a dog from doing anything, any unwanted behavior, in your case, growling and barking, is by applying a punisher. So now you just have to know how to do that. So what's a good thing to do? A bonker or an e-collar, shock collar, are the two best tools to use for stopping growling and barking. Something that we've done thousands of times successfully, and there's no negative fallout from it whatsoever, ever. So all these things that say it'll create problems, we've never seen that happen. And I'm the one that's doing it for 2 decades, thousands of times. So it's simple to do. You can stop it today. So if you don't want to bonkerize, it's a wrapped up towel. You would say no, throw the towel. I've got videos on how to make and deploy a bonker. There's a certain way to do it. And how to use an e-collar in a situation like that. There's a certain way to do it, and it's easy for anybody to do. Anybody to do. And we have dogs that can sit. Oh gosh, during one of our lives, we had 6 dogs out. This was just a month ago or so ago, and Amazon came right up to the door, dropped off packages. Most of the dogs looked. Nobody said boo. It's not like they were getting corrected. Like, the training works. The training works. So that's one of our simpler protocols to do. And that's for a trainer. That's a good test for a trainer to know if you want to hire them or not. Is can they stop that immediately? They should be able to stop it immediately. If they can't, I would question them being able to stop anything more challenging than that, because that's a pretty simple thing to stop. Next.
Let's see. Service dog called Kitty said glad she was committed to putting in the work with her dog before getting in a relationship. That's a great dog owner.
Yeah, I mean, most of we have great clients. We have fantastic clients, but there's also a huge amount of people out there that have aggressive dogs that are destroying their families and are not doing anything about it. They're putting their dog before their kids. We just had another dog go home, Buddy, who her adult children who live in the house, they couldn't come downstairs when the dog was downstairs. The dog would attack them. Not anymore. Could you imagine that? Dog's doing great now. Dog's doing fantastic. Next. Up in Maine. We're in Florida. Dog came all the way from Maine, all the way down here. We get a lot of dogs from out of state.
Yeah.
Next.
Next one's coming from Virginia. No, next one's coming from Canada.
Let's go to Canada.
We got Canada coming.
Dog's coming in from Canada on Monday. A dog that has 81 titles to
It's
its
like
name.
number 1 in Canada, right?
Yeah, I'll get the dog's CV. It's resume.
Like highly trained show dog, competition dog.
Yep. But it struggles in family pet thing, and it also struggles. It can't get titled in obedience because the judge can't touch it. But getting trick training, judge doesn't have to touch it. And there's other competitions where the judge doesn't have to touch.
Yeah, like nose work and stuff.
Yeah. So, but it's got 81 titles to its name. 81.
And then when we put it up, everyone's going to be like, no, it doesn't.
Yes, sure.
That's what they do every time. We
For
work
sure.
with like a champion dog.
Yep.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we get them in, but it can't be approached by the judge because it'll get disqualified because it growls. Yep.
Yeah. Zach said, I put my dog on place and he barks back at me. Well.
Okay. Tell him to fuck off. Mm-hmm.
RJ said, is that why they call it in the chorus NCS? Because it's unwanted behavior?
No.
It's just non-compliance.
No, NCS is non-compliant STEM.
That's more for like obedience.
No, that's on the obedience spectrum. That's the process of, one of the third step of our e-collar training. It's not to stop unwanted behavior at all. It's part of the conditioning of the e-collar. We actually have a very structured way on how we train an e-collar. Punishment is how you stop an unwanted behavior. NCS is part of the conditioning phase of the e-collar. There's a humongous difference, huge difference. Next.
RJ said, is it agility or confirmation? I don't know. This dog does a lot.
We'll let everybody know when we have all the paperwork in front of us. Yeah.
Outdoor obedience said, is there a difference between a choke chain and a dominant dog collar?
Huge difference. Yeah, huge difference. Dominant dog collar is a thin piece of nylon. It's a very thin version of a slip lead, but it's only the collar part. And the way it's designed around the dog, it comes measured. The way it's designed around the dog, minimal upward pressure constricts it very quickly, and it immediately de-escalates arousal.
And it releases
as
quickly.
And it releases very
the problem
quickly.
with slip leads sometimes is
They don't release.
They don't
Yep.
release.
And then a choke chain is too thick.
And it rips the dog's hair out.
Yeah. So
So
there's a difference in the material. There's a difference in the results, and there's a difference in the mechanics are almost the same, but it's with choke chains, which we don't use choke chains. It's hard for an owner to use a choke chain effectively. It's hard for most trainers to use choke chains, but we don't train with them because it's hard for the owner to duplicate, and we only use tools that we want to be able to pass on to the owner. Next.
Let's see. Service dog called Kitty said some of those dogs are awful, reactive in their crates, scared of storms. Yeah. Sometimes, these show dogs have a lot of
the majority.
behavioral issues.
I would say that 90+% of show dogs are not very well behaved.
That's the difference between the like obedience and behavior.
Yeah.
They're two separate things. We talk about it
Two
all the
very
time.
separate things. A lot of them are aggressive, human and dog aggressive. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of them have got very serious behavioral issues, very serious behavioral issues because they've never been told no. Because that the whole philosophy in their organizations and the folks that train them is the concept of you don't tell the dog no. Next.
RJ said, maybe I need to look at that again. I assume that NCS is consistent and low where punishment is slightly higher.
Punishment is not slightly higher. Punishment is extremely high.
So if you're only on e-call or heel in Green to Graduate, RJ, you probably haven't even gotten to corrections
You're
yet.
not in corrections yet.
So you're on NCS, which is working levels, continuous. We are dialing up a little.
It's not punishment.
But corrections you'll see later when we're like really working that dog. It's much higher levels and it's one tap.
Yep. And dogs don't get corrected for obedience for a very long period of time on any collar for a very long period of time. It's two separate things, two very separate things. And punishment is not slightly higher. Punishment is dramatically higher. That's why it's called punishment. And it should be. Proper punishment is a high aversion. The dog should think that what just happened sucked. But you have to teach the dog first on the obedience what's expected. Where on behavior, you don't. That the act of punishing is teaching the dog what's unexpected when it comes to behavior, barking, guarding, redirecting, fence fighting. That you can go right to high. Next.
Problem solving said, meantime, when you watch a dog show, it looks like they are torturing the dogs, but yet a bonk gets everyone worked up. Oh, with their tight little slip leads.
Yeah, I mean that's just all but a lot of those I've worked with plenty of show dogs and they struggle just like every other dog does. Don't be fooled by what happens in a ring. Don't be fooled by that. All right. Okay. So if you watch Dancing with the Stars, that does in the number whoever won it, whatever, I don't know what season they're on, that doesn't mean they're a nice person. Like, okay, that doesn't mean they're a nice person just because they won Dancing with the Stars. That doesn't mean they don't commit adultery. That doesn't mean they don't commit crime. That doesn't mean they don't have a drinking or drug problem. That doesn't mean they lie or don't lie. Don't be fooled by the winner of Dancing with the Stars. Same thing with the dog show. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Next.
We work with so many. I think people don't realize because we don't talk about it that much, but we work with so many show dogs. Mm-hmm. Dogs that win, dogs that are titled.
Mm-hmm. But this one we have as much permission as we need to talk about this dog's journey because she's a huge advocate of us. Huge advocate.
Even Chase, wasn't he winning dog shows and confirmation and stuff before he became reactive?
Yeah, the deaf one. Yep, he was deaf.
Yep. RJ said, okay, I'll look further into the course. Keo understands the stim to where he needs to be, and we are working on the heel, but I don't know if I should go further into correction in the course material.
Depends what it is. For the heel, you don't need to yet. No,
but like, let's say you've been doing place for 2 weeks now. You've been in the community 3 weeks. If he's doing it NCS, like you're probably ready.
You start correcting him for non-compliance, but you have to teach him what that means. So there's a part where
I've seen your videos though, RJ. Like that's the benefit of being in the community. When you put stim, like when he broke that one video, I think you were like proofing. He went back with stim,
so he knows it.
So if you've been doing that for like 2 weeks at this point, you're probably ready for corrections.
Nope.
Yeah. Like, how do you know? Because if you put stim on and the dog does what it's supposed to do, he knows.
Yep.
Yeah. Shai said the insane amount of popular dog social media accounts that hide major behavior issues.
Of course.
Oh my God, I know. Because they monetize it.
Yep.
Everyone's like literally like they're making courses on it now. How to turn your dog into an influencer. How to get promo deals and how it's like this is when Instagram
first came out. I was flown to Germany by a pet influencer and whose dog was a huge celebrity. And this dog had bitten every single person in the family. Everybody. So they lived with extended family. So it was grandmother, parents, and then the owner, and attacked everybody and anybody that came in the house. Dog was big on social media. This is before like this is actually before human influencers were a thing. to the beginning of Instagram, TikTok didn't even exist back then either. Instagram didn't have this social media influencer thing. It was just a dog with a huge following. Huge following. Next.
Back in our day,
Mm-hmm.
before Instagram Reels were a thing, you know how old we are? We had IGTV. All right, who remembers IGTV?
Joel, you're not that old.
I've been around for every part of Instagram, though.
But Joel,
I bet you there's people on this app right now that don't know what IGTV is.
This,
who knows IGTV?
You have to yell. Joel, you don't know what living without the internet is.
Yeah, I do. For 5 years, I did. Thank you very much. I remember when it first came out. We had a big old computer and a huge entertainment. Remember the huge entertainment systems?
Yes.
And we'd all gather around and watch it dial up. And my mom would get pissed because she couldn't make phone calls.
AOL. Yeah. I've been around
I remember.
For a long time. I remember AOL. I was living on John Street in Providence after my first divorce.
I know IGTV and yelling too.
What's that?
RJ said, I know IGTV and yelling too.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I remember IGTV was like the big thing. We're like, oh, we can do long format. And then right after that, it was like Reels. Now you have 7 seconds to get your point across. Good luck, bitches.
Yep. I know.
And that's when everything changed.
I know.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Those are the days. I miss IGTV. I miss being able to just like do a live and like our audience saw our stuff.
Is Periscope still on? Is Periscope still around?
I don't know.
We were on Periscope for a while.
Also, what was the other thing we used to use for video calls before Zoom?
Skype.
Skype. Is that around anymore?
They finally went out of business, I believe.
Oh, man.
I think they might have been in 2025 this year. I think they might have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Skype finally crashed and burned. Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I miss MySpace too so much.
Mm-hmm.
We all were little HTML coders back then.
I never had MySpace.
And you had your top 8, so if someone pissed you off, everybody knew. You booted their asses right off. Public execution.
I never had a... Why are you being so loud tonight? There's the cats again.
What are they doing out there?
They're destroying our pool.
You hear that?
Yeah.
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
These cats are going to destroy our fresh pool net.
Tired of them. I'm really tired of them. Yeah. Anyway.
They keep modifying IG functionality and where everything is. Like it was fine before. I know. Every other day. They're like, I'm going to... Because you get so programmed to like doing certain things. Like your thumbs... Now it's totally opposite. You have to click over here now. I'm like, why?
They're controlling your eyeballs. That's why.
Why?
They're controlling your eyeballs. That's why.
Ugh.
Next.
We shouldn't talk badly about it while we're on it, though.
Nope.
They're like, oh, yeah? Strike.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Everybody have a fantastic night. Thank you so much. Don't forget, we offer in-person shadows for owners. If you're struggling with your dog, right now we've got it's half price. We just started. We launched it. For 5 days.
We're looking for case studies.
Come to Florida. We already have 2 people coming. We have 2 spots left. At this special price, half price. For 5 days, 3 hours each day, you come to Florida. You'll stay at an Airbnb or a hotel. You bring your dog, and we'll work with your dog for 3 hours each day with any behavioral issue you're struggling with. And obviously, trainers, you can do a trainer shadow as well. And we also have a mastermind coming up for trainers. And we offer online coaching for owners, as well as obviously in-person board and train. And if you're in somewhere in Florida or wherever, you can fly me to your house wherever you are. I'll come to your house for a 90-minute, a one-time consult. I can do that. There's a lot of ways we can help you, in person or online. All right, everyone. Madly in love with all of you. Everyone have a fantastic week. Take care.
Bye, everybody.